I just want to start by saying this video gets into some pretty heavy topics, including doxing, sexual assault allegations, grooming minors, and much worse. So fair warning.
Oh shit.
As I began my deep dive into pirate software, there are things that I uncovered that I couldn't have even imagined I would be making a video about. Things that taught me more about him than I ever needed to know. I'm going to go over his credentials a little bit, but if you want to skip to the juicy stuff, you can click on this timestamp here. But I do want to establish a fact pattern to reinforce some of the later, more serious allegations. So in case you didn't know...
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but I worked at Blizzard Entertainment. It's a cold world out there, folks. And it's only getting colder.
I mean...
So I feel like it's pretty common knowledge at this point.
You know, when you do effects like that, when you make effects like that and you just mock for no reason, when you're trying to make, I don't know, a content nuke video about someone, it just comes off as bias. Like you're wanting to take out pirate software.
Like a nepotism hire. I mean, his dad was one of the first.
That does not sow trust for me.
Entertainment. He worked as a defensive security specialist. However, I want to point out there's no evidence he did any coding or game developing. So his time at Blizzard, when he's talking about everything from coding to fucking game developing to marketing, is misleading, if not an outright manipulative lie. And I say,
how is it misleading or manipulative lie? He's good. He's basically okay at developing, I guess. I just, doesn't he have like all these people doing making games? Right, he's promoting indie game developing and helping people learn how to code. I think he was pretty forthright. Like every time I've looked at pirate software, he said that his dad was in charge of cutscenes or something. Like, so if you saw a cutscene in World of Warcraft, he probably worked on it. Like, did that actually become a meme? I don't see how he's trying to misconstrue the situation and say, hey, I was a game developer at World of Warcraft. I don't think he has ever said that. I don't think so. No, I don't think he did.
A manipulative lie, because this is a part of a larger pathology. He's not some soy gamer nerd with a cringe, nerdy voice. He's a cool hacker guy, It's this projection of being a cool professional with 7 years at Blizzard, a hacker with a deep voice who is not just some soy kid who likes to stream
Why
on
is
Twitch.
the voice thing such a big deal?
Soy kid who likes to stream on Twitch, but like projecting this image that you're some like cool pseudo expert on everything and that you know about social engineering and that you're a hacker or whatever is just stupid. But there's very much intentionality behind it. There's a reason that he acts this way, and it's to get away from his past. There's a certain image he likes to project to get credibility, and through that credibility he wants to gain followers, and he wants to use those followers as a weapon. This pattern dates all the way back to 2007. He's intentionally curated this character to get away from this and that and much more.
So to talk a little bit more about him playing this character and a little bit more of him feeding into it, we have these DEF CON badges, right? And these were given to everyone on teams. So it doesn't actually go to any individual person. So Thor claims, I got these badges. It went to me. But in reality, it went to these teams, right?
Well, what are we doing here? That's literally how everything fucking works. If you win the Stanley Cup in hockey, you say, I won the Stanley Cup. It's just as valid as saying, we won the Stanley Cup. Yes, you will say that a lot of times. We won the Stanley Cup. My team won the Stanley Cup. But I was a part of that fucking team, so I won it too. Just like when you win a World Series, everyone gets a ring. I have a World Series ring. I played in the World Series. I won the World Series. That's the micro level. Then you have the macro level. Like, who cares if this team won? If he was a part of that team, then he fucking won.
So you have a bunch of teams of people here. Now, he just happened to be a part of a couple of these teams. So he
won.
Consisted of 12 people.
Okay.
And one consisted of 21 people.
Yeah.
So that does not equal. Let's put a little line in there. No. Circle around that. That's a little line. We'll put a line through that. He over here did not win a DEF CON badge.
So I alluded that he was
That
running
is
away.
so cringe. Like, that just says I am so fucking I don't know, jealous. I just got a hate boner on for someone. He didn't win the DEF CON badge because it was his team, and he was a part of this team, and a lot of people were a part of this team. He's not DEF CON quality. He was a part of the DEF CON team, but he just didn't win the badge. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here, guys? Like, what is this shit? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Away from something with all this. And what was he running away from?
Uh-oh. There's a box.
Despite the jokey nature of that intro, and I do like to keep it a little lighthearted, we're going to be going into some pretty serious topics here. Pirate Software used to go by the alias Moldavius Fig Tree. This is his earliest confirmed online presence. He's got a pattern of striking down anyone who uses this name, so if you see that my channel's gone, that's why. Feel free to subscribe to my other channel, it'll be in the description, youtube.com/@lackingxl. Under this alias, Pirate Software was very active in the Second Life/furry community. Second Life is basically just a social media where people can own plots of
He's
land,
a furry.
avatars, and code stuff. Do a little ERP. It's basically Roblox and VR chat with more of an emphasis on middle-aged women who spend too much time online.
You know what, you little cocksucker? You want to threaten me again? Huh? I'm right here, you little shit. Threaten me now, fucker.
Now,
What?
despite being called Second Life, people treat it as their first life. You can literally hear people shutting their kids up in the background while they're crying just so they can be with their fake kids and their fake family. And he was known for many things in this community, most prominent of which was harassing users and turning them against each other to take their communities over, as well as scamming a 16-year-old girl out of money and then reporting her for being underage, despite knowing that at the time that she was making sexually charged avatars for him. Part of the claim is he fired her because she wasn't working, which would lead me to believe that the underage thing wasn't that much of a problem for him, but we'll go over those logs later. He also has a shop where you can see his over 100 fursuits for sale in-game, as well as a replica of his ferret fursona. Now, there's a lot of things I didn't need to know about his romantic and sexual life.
just to be completely honest, the ferret thing is understandable because he likes ferrets. Like, I'm not going to sit here and defend furries, but I don't really know if that's being a furry. Like, is that being a furry, guys? He likes ferrets. He rescues ferrets. He has, like, this ferret avatar. I don't know.
And I'm not here to shame him
I don't
over
know.
that, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay,
But
yeah.
despite trying to scrub his entire persona off the internet, including taking down his WikiFur page, traces still linger. In an attempt to run away from his tarnished reputation and past, he's abused report and DMCA functions like EDP abuses cupcakes. Now, coming from a guy named Pirate Software, it's a bit ironic. Now, the first incident dates all the way back to 2007 to the Woodbury University region, which was removed by admins of Second Life after Pirate Software completely trashed the realm. So I think trolling, griefing, all that, it's fun, it's cool. Griefing's a little iffy, trolling's great. But the problem is when you are basically destroying a piece of history, a historical landmark that is being engraved in virtual form, it's like graffitiing Wikipedia articles.
Wait,
Now, I'm not
wait,
gonna read
wait,
the whole
wait,
thing,
wait,
but I
wait.
do think
Wait, what did we just assign sacred to? What's sacred here? I'm not understanding, guys. Like, what is sacred?
some things are pertinent. So I'm not going to read all of this because I don't think all of it is pertinent. But the gist of it is that basically
You're losing me here.
he took over the Woodbury University with his group and used it to plan raids and grief the entire thing. Now, it was so bad that Linden Labs had to completely delete the realm. Here, the real-life Woodbury
They
University
deleted
has been
the
barred from
fucking
having any
realm.
official representation in Second Life since July of 2007.
Thor,
And the original
destroyer
Woodbury
of
University region
fucking
was
worlds.
trashed by Intliber, Brodigan employee, Moldavius Fig Tree, and then destroyed less than a week later by Linden Lab itself. Linden Lab deleted the region and most of its users due to its use of a headquarters for planning and executing grid raids by now inactive griefing groups known as Patriotic Nigris. So yeah, I'd say pretty shitty. The first thing that you do as a notable member of the community is trash essentially what is historical preservation. And you want to know the reason he did it? He did it because he was kicked off the project. But it doesn't stop there. And I'll just go ahead and read this. Moldavius Fig Tree, notorious for having destroyed builds in the Woodbury University sim last summer, is in the news again this week after controversial firing of avatar designer Wingless Amodo. According to reliable sources...
Like, I don't mind. Like, look, guys, we're 8 minutes into a 19-minute video. Like, we're getting close to the halfway point. And so far, it's been that he might have been petty and did some trolling because he was kicked out of something. Like, I'm not getting it yet.
Sources, Fig Tree held a suspicious...
Like, these are major fucking claims. Like, you're saying he's a groomer? He attacks children, basically, the innocence of children? You're going to have to really show the evidence for that shit. Like, you got to come with some serious receipts. If he just acted cringe when he was younger and did some stupid shit, that's not a content nuke. You know, that's the way I see it.
Meeting last Friday morning, a meeting timed for when Wingless Emoto would be asleep and therefore unable to attend. During this meeting, it was determined that the talented avatar creator Emoto was earning too much and should therefore be removed from staff. The terms of service for Fig Tree's company, Dark Sphere Creations, were then conveniently changed and Miss Emoto was removed from her position, all before she awoke to the news. So Mr. I pay for my mods, I give them healthcare. A little bit suspicious there. She was also accused of...
Well, that was years ago, right?
The fact that she was unable to work for a short period of time due to technical malfunctions. Her remaining avatars and creations continued to sell well throughout this period, generating significant real-life money for the company. Now that Wingless is gone, Maldivia's Fig Tree is continuing to sell her avatars and refuses to return her creations and has ceased paying her commission that they had agreed upon. You could actually see a bunch of fanboys defending him because he is used to running this kind of cult, okay? This goes all the way back to
no. If you really think about this for a minute, if you actually paid for a creative, that's your creative now, even if you get rid of someone. But besides that point, how long? This was 2008. This is 2008. Like, these little rats are digging back to 2008 to try to find shit on Pirate Software so far. And so far in the video, what they have found is he didn't pay his mods back then. Well, no shit. He said that he started paying his mods when he was able to, because of the concurrent viewers he has. Now they even have health insurance. Like, that's insane. Like, this is 2008. Like, I'm an objective person here. I'm not friends with Pirate Software. I don't know the guy 100%. I really don't. I've watched some of his shit. I've covered some of it. I've seen him around, right? And it's like, wait a minute. What are we doing? This is 2008. We're digging back and we're finding some really petty shit so far. I need some serious receipts, guys. Like, fuck.
2007. He knows how to lie and manipulate and create a fiercely loyal fan base and use it in his favor, whether that's to attack people or defend him. But unlucky for him, we have the logs. Now, keep in mind this girl is underage, and this whole conversation is about her not producing enough sexually explicit avatars. She says, I made a druid named Peniscock. Moldavius says, cool, I ran the company while you sat on your ass. Wingless says, keep up the good work then, I intend to continue sitting on my ass. I'm far too cheap to buy a new tablet right now, so that would be referring to the technical issues she was having. Moldavia says, you're an ass, you really are, you don't give a shit about this anymore, do you? You realize everyone else in the company is telling me just to drop your ass right now, even Greiler. Now, the veracity of these claims is suspect at best, given his track record at lying. But Wingless says, did I really in the first place? Money is nice and all, but mostly I build because I like doing it. So keep in mind, this is the conversation for why he fired her. She was having problems with a tablet, and she couldn't afford to replace it. You know, with all the money he was making, he probably could have bought it for her, especially considering she was underage at the time, so this was likely her only source of income.
Well, there's a few things we don't know. Okay, and we'd have to read that again. Like, this is going to take some investigation. Let's go back. Wait, we're going back. Okay. Wingless says, I made a druid name. Okay. Cool, I ran the company. You sat on your ass. Keep up the good work then. Okay, so what was his age? Like, he was definitely probably in his 20s then. Does he know that this person was underage? See, my problem with stuff like this is that we are going back literally to 2008. MySpace is still online. MySpace, for fuck's sake. Okay, so we're going back. Think about it. I had to pause. Think about how stupid this is. We're going back to 2008 to try to dig something up. Okay, fine. That's great. It's got to be something pretty fucking good. Like, he was probably, I mean, I don't like guessing people's age, but he was much younger. Like, 2008 was a long time ago, bro. That was a long time ago. This person right here, did you know they were underage? See, we don't have any context so far. So far, we don't. We have a chat that someone has pulled out, and they're like, well, they were underage at that time. Okay, maybe they were. But was, did Pirate know about that? Really?
Lying. But Wingless says, did I really in the first place? Money is nice and all, but mostly I build because I like doing it. So keep in mind, this is the conversation.
And by the way, he's under no obligation to buy anyone a tablet. If you want to do your job, then you got to have the shit to do your job. That's just it. No one owes you the shit you need to do your job. You know how many times, you need a job, you go out and do it, and guess what? You got to have fucking transportation, or you have to take public transportation. You need the tools to do your job. No one said, hey, your microphone right here, we're going to help you get that because you need it to stream. No, they didn't. I had to have it to do the job. I mean, he could have. Yeah, sure. A lot of people could do a lot of fucking things.
For why he fired her. She was having problems with a tablet, and she couldn't afford to replace it.
I mean, boo-hoo. Like, we're shedding so many tears over here.
She was underage at the time, so this was likely her only source of income.
Oh.
While Mr. Pirate Software was raking in.
Well, what's he raking in?
Most of the money as a 21-year-old making snide comments about how she...
Okay, so he was 21 at the time. So he's 21 and she's 16. That's 5 years. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that Pirate should work with minors. I don't think you should. Like, it's too... Because you're going to have, like, people like this that are going to do everything. See, this isn't about the minor thing. Like, no one gives a fuck. This is about, of course, catching views, clout, right? It's about clout, and beyond clout, it's about just jumping on the virtue train. That's what it's about. Like, no one gave a fuck about Pirate until right now. Like, right now is when they actually care. Yeah, and you're going to have these people that are going to dig through, like moles in the ground, for everything they can find from 20 years ago. Yeah, that's why on Discord you just ban them. No minors.
Working enough when she's having technical issues.
It's not worth the liability.
Very maturely, by the way, for the most part, considering her age. But the other thing to note is this conversation is insane, considering the fact that she worked solely on commission. It wasn't like he was draining away money, paying her a salary, or paying her by the hour, or anything like that. She was literally only getting paid for the things she already made and got sold, which Pirate Software takes a cut of. But the even more funny thing is that these are the logs he leaked. Now let's get into the other logs that were leaked that he had no say in.
Uh-oh, what is these?
Up to this point, he did not reveal she was underage.
Oh.
The conversation he had in a group chat, I don't know why he didn't expect this to be leaked. A Moldavia's Fig Tree, aka Pirate Software, says, I fired her. She didn't work for 2 months, missed meetings because she was playing WoW and are too lazy to come. I then freaked out when I said I would be paying her on Fridays instead of point of sale due to tax complications, since I have to report all this income for taxes. That reasoning doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, against my better judgment. Alex says she got in one little fight and her mom got scared and said, you're moving in with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air. Moldavius posts those logs, like a small snippet of that conversation, which is completely out of context, as you can see by the logs we read, with her reasoning given. Then Moldavius says, things like this is why she's gone. Another user chimes in, dang, business is gangsta at Darksphere. Moldavius says, read what I just put up, Risfin? I don't know the fuck he's talking about, alright? She's also underage, so I've reported her. I know this because I met her IRL. She lives 2 hours from me, so that's what happened. So let's just put this into perspective. He runs a business called Darksphere where he's making
Okay, wait a minute. Did I just hear that right, guys? So he found out she was underage, so he reported her, and then later she's fired? That doesn't sound like someone is taking advantage of a minor. That sounds like someone who found out someone was a minor and they did something about it. They handled the situation differently.
sexually charged avatars, or rather, he is getting other people to make the avatars for him, and then he's selling it on their behalf, taking a cut of it, and then arguing with them when they're not working enough. And in this business, he employed someone he knew was underaged, withheld money from her after
No, it literally says, okay, wait, let's back up. We gotta find it. Let's go back to the receipt.
I know this because I'm...
Alright, so... Okay, there we go. She's also... Okay, read what I just put up. She's also underage, so I've reported her. I know this because I met her in real life. She lives 2 hours from me. So that's what happened. Okay, so there you go. He found out they were underaged. That's common. Do you know how many people under 18 try to enter a Discord space for people over 18 and you have to constantly try to flush their asses out? Like, this is not... I mean, this is not shocking. Like, how is this an indictment against Pirate Software? How is this grooming? It clearly states, guys, look. It clearly states.
ARL.
Look. What we don't know when he found this out. Let's be fair about this. We don't know when he found out she was underaged. We have no clue. That's what we don't know. She's also underage, so I've reported her. So, see, here's the thing. Did he report her because she was underage? And he always knew that? Or did he find out she was underage and he reported her? That makes a big difference in this. The next thing is, I don't think there's anything illegal or even morally reprehensible about hiring someone underage to do things. Now, the emote or whatever she made, that could be sus. Right. Definitely. But again, this is open to a lot of interpretation. You got to have something more iron tight than this. You can't base everything with Pirate Software off of a fucking chat from 2008, right? If I tell you what, if it was so incriminating, okay, you can't have both things. So Pirate Software is this mastermind and this genius who has this persona he's created, and he can fool the masses into supporting him, these rabid fans. But at the same time, he's so fucking stupid that he's just going to leak. He's going to leak a chat like this. Which one is it? Is he a fucking mastermind, or is he a leaker? Is he a dumbass that's just going to leak something that could bite him in the ass? Which is it? You got to choose mastermind, genius, evil, James Bond Pirate Software, or dumbass Pirate Software, bro. Which one?
Hell, she lives 2 hours from me, so that's what happened. So let's just put this into perspective. He runs a business called Darksphere where he's making sexually charged avatars, or rather, he is getting other people to make the avatars for him, and then he's selling it on their behalf, taking a cut of it, and then arguing with them when they're not working.
Well, are you saying it like that's a bad thing? That's literally what Twitch does. We make the content and they take a cut of it. That's what Upwork does. That's what literally everyone does in the entire fucking world. People can't even sell fucking shit at Walmart without having a fee added to it. That's what taxes are.
Enough. And in this business, he employed someone he knew was underaged, withheld money from her after she was fired, yet he still continued to sell her avatars, and then apparently at some point he met her in real life. Now, the graffiti thing, he's young, he was 21 at the time, okay, fuck it, you know. I would be able to look past that if he'd shown any signs of changing his behavior, but it seems like he's doing the exact same things he was back then today. But this is just weird. I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't have a minor making sexually explicit avatars for you. You shouldn't be scamming them. But
yeah, I do. Okay. I do see what they're trying to do here, and I see what trail they're on. They're trying to pull this thread. But having a title that he's a groomer and this is a content nuke, it's not that ironclad. It's not that taken down. The fact that he reported that she was underage is actually in his favor. The fact that you're saying that he is this evil genius, but at the same time dumb enough to leak something like this, he leaked it, doesn't, those two things don't add up.
But the meeting her in real life really just doesn't sit right with me. And I can't say anything happened, but man, why? Why the fuck? Why would you do that? Now, this blew up a little bit on 4chan a couple of years later, so we made a response to this, but it didn't really address anything substantive, like the fact that she was making sexual avatars. But what he did do is completely lie about the fact that he fired her in this excerpt here, which is just blatantly false given the other logs we have. Not to mention the fact that he says he reported her afterwards, despite knowing she was underage before, and only
Where does it say that? Did I completely miss it?
seemingly reported her out of the fact that he was mad that she didn't work enough, which is just bottom of the barrel scumbag behavior. Either it's okay for her to be there, or it's not okay.
No, firing someone because they don't work enough is not scumbag behavior. Let's listen to that again. Like, what is this?
Work enough, which is just
I mean, we got it. Wait, let's back up.
False given the other logs we have. Not to mention the fact that he says he reported her afterwards, despite knowing she was underage before, and only seemingly reported her out of the fact that he was mad that she didn't work enough, which is just bottom of the barrel scumbag behavior.
But we don't know that. That's context that we're adding, right? He reported her because she's underage. Or, see, we don't know. Did he report her because she was underage, or did he report her because he was unhappy with something and he used her being underage in order to get rid of her? No one could say that. These logs are fucking ancient, man. You found these things beside the Rosetta Stone. What context do we have of that time and what was going on?
Behavior. Either it's okay for
maybe
her to
you're
be
right.
there, or
Like, maybe you're right. Well, fuck. These things were on papyrus. Now what? I mean, we don't have the context of what was really happening. We don't understand the time. I mean, it matters. The perception of how things were at the time matter in cases like this. And when you go back and you dig up all these bones and you try to reconstruct a skeleton of hate towards someone, it really doesn't look that good, in my opinion. Like, it has to be fucking amazing evidence in order to start calling him a groomer. I mean, holy shit.
not okay for her to be there because she's underage, in which case, why are you using her as a worker knowing she's underage and only reporting her after the fact? And then he tries
where did it say that? I must just be missing it. Oh, hi, I'm back from vacation. The house is apparently slightly on fire. Apparently some people believe that I ripped off an underage artist 16 years ago. That artist went by Wireless Emoto at the time and is now known as Mameface on Twitter. They were 17 and I was 19 when all this went down, and no, we never did anything sexual together. We made avatars in Second Life and our work was really popular. Why is he lying about this? Where's the receipts? So we just saw the deleted stuff that he apparently leaked, the evil genius leaked. And now we're seeing his open part of this, addressing these allegations. 17, that's 2 fucking years, by the way. And they didn't do anything sexual together. Where's the chat where he was trying to... You know what a groomer is? Like, do we really have to do this fucking shit? Oh, God. Let's, wait, guys. Where the fuck is it? I need to bring it up. All right, you know what? I know what can do it. I know what can do it, boys. I know what we can do here. Okay. Please give me the definition of a groomer and what evidence would I need to call someone it? All right, here we go. Here we go, boys. All right, definition of a groomer. A groomer, in the context you're likely referring to, as someone who deliberately engages in behaviors aimed at gaining the trust of a child or a vulnerable person with the intent of exploiting them, often sexually. He didn't fucking do that. Even if the worst case is true and he was a complete dick and he used this underage person in a way, he didn't do it sexually. Most people, when they think of grooming, they think of like what has been happening in Europe. They think about slowly, sexually charming someone to manipulate their innocence. That's what they think, and that did not happen here. As a matter of fact, not only did Pirate Software not groom, he did the opposite. He pissed her off. She left. So here's the evidence needed. Calling someone a groomer is a serious accusation with significant implications, so it's crucial to have substantial evidence. Here's what you might look for. patterns of behavior, testimonies, digital evidence, behavioral observations, and professional assessment. So it's a serious fucking allegation, and these chats from 2008 just don't do it. Like, it's crazy. Anyway, let's go back.
And that she was 17 instead of 16, and that he was 19 instead of 21, even though we know that's not true. And then he said, we made up, which doesn't mean anything. I would never look to a victim to see if what the person did to them is okay. There are plenty of women who, even on the extreme ends, have been sexually assaulted who would say, oh no, it's okay, it's fine, we made up.
Yeah.
That doesn't make what he did okay. And also, but
you don't, what did he do? Like, this is such hot air right now. I know exactly where he's going with this, because they invested like $5,000, I think it was, to get the ball rolling on Heartbound, and he's releasing an update. The last time I checked into this, an update's coming in like a few weeks. Like, people aren't that upset at the game. There was a hate raid on it on stream.
Mr. Moldavia's Fig Tree is developing a game called Heartbound, and developing is putting it quite generously. The game was put up on Steam Greenlight somewhere around November 2016, and it had a release date set for 2017.
All right, you're totally wrong. No, well, you know what? If I'm wrong, it's not about being right or wrong. There's nothing to be right or wrong about here. Either you have real evidence that backs up such a being called a groomer or a pedophile or something is such a huge fucking thing to do to someone. You need serious evidence. If they had his voice, text, anything, his picture, literally talking about sexual advances towards a 16-year-old, right? If that really happened, then wow, okay, yeah, sure, fuck yeah. But they don't. They dug up a bunch of shit from 2008, right? And, I mean, there you go. They dug it up from 2008, and there's not much to it. It's just a skeleton that they're trying to put together, and they got the fucking head on the ass.
And if you don't know, Steam Greenlight was basically a system that was implemented for a sort of quality control, community quality control for Valve on the Steam marketplace. So basically, a certain amount of community members had to greenlight the project for it to go up on Steam. It reached that goal in December of 2016. And then on February 2017, Pirate Software decided to do a Kickstarter fundraiser for Heartbound with a release date set for December of 2017. Speaking of more deceptive practices from Pirate Software, they put the funding goal at $5,000 because he knew the money would be raised in 24 hours and a bunch of news sites would pick it up. So the fundraiser ended on March 26th of 2017.
Yeah.
And if you pledged $10 or more, you got a digital download of the game, which again was set for December 2017. On November 1st, 2017, it got pushed back. On February 6th of 2018, the wording was changed from "we are hoping to fully finish and release Heartbound by early to mid 2018" to "we are hoping to fully finish and release Heartbound in 2018. Then on
okay,
October-
I'm going to absolutely prove how these allegations of grooming are fucking bullshit so far. Unless you can come up with more, now you're going to and I know where this is going, now you're going to say that he is stringing along investors into this Heartbound game. I get it. And I looked into it somewhat, as much as I could find not boring. And I found out that, yes, especially with the faux update that 1 year, and then there was no update, that it sucked. And some people were upset. And I understand that they were upset about this. But he is continuing to update the game, and this, as a matter of fact, is fucking vindication. I mean, this is proving that, look, if you really had a content nuke, if you were like, Pirate Software is a groomer, what are we doing talking about this? Game fucking over. Way back here in the earlier part of the video, it would have been done. You would say, okay, that's it. Fuck, he's a PDF file. Okay, done. Minute 9, finished, video done, content nuke, this gets 1 million fucking views, how amazing. No, here we are at the 14-minute mark talking about fucking Heartbound, of all things. Heartbound. Like, why add this on? Why pile it on? Who gives a shit? You already dropped the bomb. He had a 16-year-old in a vulnerable position. Wow, if that's true, what are we doing talking about Heartbound?
October 25th, the
I'm
wording
fucking
again
stupid.
changed to Heartbound is launching into early access on Steam in 2018. And it did eventually release, quote unquote, into early access. And that was on December 25th, 2018. So a full year after they were promised the release of the game, they got a partial release of the game into early access. And then in 2019, they just completely removed the question of when the game will be released from the FAQ. So not very transparent, kind of like, I don't want to say scamming, but people were promised a full game in December of 2017, and it's now in 2019, and they just removed that from the FAQ of when it was going to release. But again, hashtag where's the money? Because he raised, at least from this screenshot that I found, and it might have even gone up to more, he raised almost $20,000 for this shitty game. This RPG Maker ass game. Where'd the money go, bro? You're supposed to be this expert hacker, expert social engineer. Blizzard, 7 years of Blizzard coder, 7 years of Blizzard coding experience. Where's the game? Where's the money? Then on September 21st of 2021, Thor said he lost 9 months of development time due to COVID.
I mean, I think he addresses this on his stream like every single day, right? Like every time they're talking about Heartbound and updating Heartbound. And I don't think that many people are too upset about it. Some people are. But in general, it's not that, and again, this is a topic where I may even agree. I may say, okay, yeah, the rollout of Heartbound sucked dick. What do you want? Like, yeah, it sucked. Okay. It could have been done better. Sure. Why is this now a focus when we just got done through allegations of being a groomer? Like, who gives a fuck about Heartbound now? Like, that's insane. Like, what are we doing here? This just shows how fallacious this argument really is. That you think that you have to now pile on to these comments from 2008 with something else, like it wasn't enough.
From behind his computer screen. I don't know if he had to stay 6 feet of distance away from his computer because he got COVID AIDS on it. I don't know what that is supposed to mean. And then on September 29th, 2021... he said he contracted COVID in early 2020 and lost nearly a year of development time in recovery. I don't know if
Man,
Thor
that's
has
serious.
a fucking autoimmune deficiency syndrome, but he lost a year of development because he contracted COVID.
Yeah, I don't know about
And
that.
At that time, that really was the classic excuse when you literally had an
I don't know
excuse
about
for
that,
nothing.
boys.
It's like, it was COVID. COVID done did it. Then all the way in October of 2023, this is October 21st of 2023. Remember, back in 2016, they backed this game for a December 2017 full release date. And then we're all the way up in October 21st, 2023. And then he says he's planning to release Chapter 3 of Heartbound on December 24th, 2023. Unbelievable. Then December came, and he said it was still being actively developed. So, I mean, it's very clear that he intended to milk this for as long as possible. He had no intentions of getting the game out on this release date. And people have compared his coding, okay, Mr. Insane Hacker Blizzard 7 years coder, to Yandere Dev's coding.
Did he
Yandere
say that
Dev's
he was a
coding
coder at Blizzard for
actually
7
looks
years,
better,
guys?
which is unfathomable. And he uses this experience developing this game as some sort of point of authority when he's talking about game development in the game industry. It's just clearly deceptive. It's all a persona. None of it is real. It is all smoke and mirrors with him. And I've covered in my other videos the kinds of things he does with that image that he's built up. And just as another point of evidence for the fact that that COVID claim was absolute bullshit, in 2023, he got another round of COVID, but this time his recovery was only 20 days.
So yeah, it's kind of a short one. I'm sorry I didn't get more stuff done, but that was a hell of a thing. That's the second time I've gotten COVID. The first time took 9 months to recover. This one took...
Like what? Like we can't see. You actually hurt yourself, and you hurt your evidence against Pirate Software when you start talking about people's COVID recovery. Obviously, now I'm one of those people. I never really got COVID. Like, I don't think I did. So here's the thing. Like, you recover in 9 months, or you recover in 3 months the next time, it would kind of make sense that you would build up some form of immunity or antibodies for that. And I'm not a doctor, and you're probably not a doctor. So I don't know why we're discussing someone's recovery. Oh, because it relates to Heartbound. Okay, so let's just get this over with. He was going to create a game. He created a game. The first 2 chapters were great. Chapter 3 was supposed to come out. He might have edged people out of it. He had problems developing it. Who the fuck knows? He strings it out. like you would to try to get it done, so people aren't upset at him. They paid him money. Heartbound is still out today. It's still playable and still being updated. So it rolled out rocky. It was shitty. You're holding this indie game developing thing to what? To what? I mean, Riot Games has this big of a fucking problem. I mean, what are you doing here? Do we just want to shit on people for no reason? Like, just be judgmental pricks or something? Like, what is it? Like, what is it? Okay, let's just admit it. Let's just say that Pirate Software created a game. The rollout wasn't perfect. Whether it's his fault or not. Okay, fine. You get the win. All right, dog. You got the bone in your mouth. Now what? I mean, shit. This is a scandal? I don't think so. This isn't a very good scandal. Let's put it that way.
Took probably about, I think it was in total about 20 days. So thankfully I'm back on it and I'm back to working on stuff. So I'm sorry that there's no update, but I will see you guys all later.
So the idea that he lost a year of development due to COVID and then the next
it doesn't seem rational
is hilarious. But I mean, I don't think I can say.
But people make excuses all the time for shit. Like, all the time. And they have to make excuses because they can't just tell the truth to people because people want to bite them. Like, just say, hey, we fucked up. It's going to take a little while longer. That type of honesty would really be appreciated. But people don't want that. Like, people don't like to hear the truth. So people try to get around it. Right? I mean, I'm not trying to defend Pirate Software here. I'm really not. If he fucked up a game rollout, fine. That's fine. Like, then what? What do you want to do? Crucify the guy or something for it? Like, what the fuck, guys? And why are you mentioning this after grooming allegations anyway?
Anymore on this. I mean, it's so blatantly obvious that, one, his entire persona, his entire identity, his entire experience, work background, history is all a facade. This facade is carefully built up to distance himself from his past and some of the horrible things he's done, some of the relationships he's torched, the communities he's been ousted from, and he will build up a fiercely loyal fan base and use them to defend and attack people. And he has no problem silencing criticism by abusing DMCA and report functionality. Unless something absolutely major comes to light, this will be my last video on him. But I'm open to ideas of what else you guys think I should cover. With all that being said, peace out, boys.
This video, I considered not watching all of it, but I thought that I wanted to do it right and watch the entire thing once I got started because I didn't want to just clip it off. It wasn't even something we planned on watching. I just saw the headline, and I'm going to tell you what, saying that someone is a groomer is like this massive fucking thing to do, and you need to have some serious evidence to level those type of charges. I do not see that evidence. I just don't. And until you get it, it's just really cringe. And then the Heartbound thing. My God, the guy made a mistake. He fucked up. People, I mean, maybe he didn't. I don't really know, But the worst accusation there is he had a terrible rollout on a product. Like but much larger companies with 1,000 Thors have done that. So what are we talking about here? Especially after you done dropped the grooming allegations. Like, get the fuck out of here with this stuff, man. Like, no one cares about chat logs from 2008, especially if they're not really juicy. Like, this is not that big of a deal. Like, there's nothing in here that's like, oh, shit. Like, wow. Yeah, he was trying to get sexual favors from a minor. It doesn't exist.